What's up? It's your boy Kevin to turn on this motherfucking YouTube shit. Wow, what the fuck?
What's up? It's your boy Ken on YouTube shit. Hey man, say man, we are Lit achievement. Turn. Tell you to motherfucking day. So you're outside, big crib in the gang. So you're outside shit, man. Free Palestine, free Congo, Russia, do your thing, and Texas, stand the fuck up. Each day is a new day to be a better version of yourself. Never let somebody bring you down, always fight back. Never let somebody tell you who you are, but also never put yourself in a position you don't belong. Let's stay humble. There's been a revolution on this movement. Keep your way first. Coming to you, Black Hebrew Israelite, as a real Jew. We out here. Alright, boom. Today, to motherfucking day. Straight here outside, big crib in it. Gang shit outside shit, man. Gang. Yo, just turn up. Alright, gang. This shit wild, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Give me a second. Yeah, your boy be putting that work in, you did. I ain't been think that long. We got man, Chicago versus Trump. Bruh. We might as well say the whole state of America. America KKK, goofy ass. I don't know, man. This shit been wild, man. I feel like this shit been very political. They have been bringing a lot of these troops to fight against the civilians. You know what I'm saying? And we've been knowing that they was gonna transpire into some situations like this. You dig what I'm saying? And there's a lot more states that's been getting ran down on by the ICE. But like I said, bro, we need to stand tall as people. This is a revolution. Black people, we know who we are as people. We can't let what they try to do affect what we got going. Stay woke and let's put that work in. Chicago, y'all doing a good team so far. It's getting wild, pretty crazy. I ain't gonna cap. Even across the whole world. And let's get to it. Shout out to Cartier family. So Trump warned Chicago, crime began as troops arrived. Bruh, this shit is getting wild. Like, it's really the whole state's going against what the government did. And I'm looking at this shit like, bruh, I knew it, bruh, revolution. Turn up. We tired of all this BS. Bro, they done went crazy around this bitch, bro. It's been literally war.
Now I wonder how much crime gonna happen with these boys walking the streets.
This shit getting crazy.
Crime still gonna happen. Not in front of them.
Yeah, not in front of them.
They need to go to the south side.
Well, yeah, I'm hoping
this
they
shit
will get
getting
to
wild.
the predominantly crazy, fatigued areas.
The high crime areas. Just put it that way.
Yeah,
That's a.
I was trying to put it in a good way.
That's a good way.
Yeah, I
that
guess
takes
so.
any
This
race
shit
out of
crazy,
it. Put it where
man.
the crime is.
You know what's crazy? I Show Speed, a big YouTuber that's been traveling around America doing like a,
Crossing America.
yeah,
Boy.
some type of work across America. He said Chicago, he said in his opinion, I think top 2 best cities like downtown, skyline view, it is.
Yeah, Chicago look good in a bitch.
Beautiful
I
out
need
there.
to go visit.
Even though you
They say it look
Lake
hella
Michigan,
good, bro.
hop on the boats and stuff, it's pretty beautiful.
I ain't been to Chicago.
I've been there. I have.
Yeah, I hear it's really beautiful. I hear like people like every time someone visits, they be like, man, I want to go back to Chicago.
Yeah, they say it's really
That's
beautiful
kind
out there,
of
bro.
like, that's honestly how I felt over there. I thought New York was cool. It was just like a different, like, completely different universe compared to what I'm used to. But, you know.
He ranked that number one. I think he said New York, Chicago, Seattle. Actually, that's liberal.
Yeah,
like the sky rises.
Yeah, the downtowns. That's what's sad, though. Like, because they also said the Bay Area, San Francisco, used to be like one of the nicest places in all of the U.S. Joe Rogan and them talk about that all the time, and then the high crime and all this stuff.
Man, they said Chicago was rich as hell. It just they started sabotaging black people.
It's still America, like just because they don't vote like
then all the white people moved out, took all their money on,
do everything we can to stop crime. You saw those people right there; they were happy. They said, "Thank you." Because if you're not a criminal, why are you upset about this? I just really wouldn't. I will never. If you're upset, then why? Like
this meme right here.
Because they obviously trying to go into black infrastructure. It's not necessary that
Plan A and Plan B.
Which one?
The crime we mad that they stopped it or doing it, but we talking about
keep Trump out
them fucking
and let
motherfuckers up.
more people die. Basically, that's what's happening. We seen it in DC.
Chirac. They have the nickname called Chirac. Ask anyone in the hood of Chicago, and they will tell you that it is bad. I've never heard someone say the hood of Chicago is not bad.
They said they need more resources, bro.
They need more
community
YMCAs, and
I don't know about the YMCAs. It might be more. You seen what happened with them kids?
That's the point. That's the point. I'm proving that's not what's gonna save them.
And they believe they do. They need more NGOs.
Whoa, okay. So, Homeland Security, you look on their X page, they're catching these guys, these illegals in different cities.
Everywhere,
Boston, San Diego, Baltimore. But then when we look at Chicago,
What did they do?
I don't understand what the hell this is.
Saturday night, federal agents arrested armed rioters. Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. That's
and assaulted the ICE facility.
Oh, yeah. They did that. Yeah,
armed.
They did this in Chicago. Yes.
What's that green ball?
11. That's a grenade. Is that a grenade?
Probably a paintball bit, like when you blow up and they just
some crazy stuff
flash
going on
everywhere.
at
Or smoke bottles and shit.
You know what had me so weak when I seen Ice drop the Pokemon theme song.
That shit was loud. Then Pokemon said, bro, I didn't give y'all the rights to use that.
That's insane.
Pokemon called them motherfuckers out.
They had at the ICE facilities in Chicago. This is what's going on in Portland. We know how Portland gets.
Boy, low-key Portland might be the most.
This shit getting crazy, nigga. Illinois, Portland.
Seattle.
Nigga, they going down Wyoming, nigga.
This kind of scares me. So I think they might have BLM type again.
What are they riding for right now?
ICE.
Illegals.
Obama did it. Were their rights? What's that squeaking sound?
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Somebody's playing with their toy.
Y'all know this is the series of furries.
Yeah, somebody playing with their furry toys.
They're actual dogs and like cats.
They got like
Put them in their mouths. Yeah.
Revolution, man.
You haven't seen a furry video? They're actually like
at the protest, how would that help them?
That's they right, bro.
Bro, these people are mentally ill, bro.
Nah, they really are.
They're going to furry suits, frog suits, all types of shit. They're really saying we don't take y'all serious. Army, y'all jump to us. Well, they ready for the smoke bomb, bitch, and the gas grenades. This shit getting crazy.
Y'all are bored.
They're getting paid.
They are getting paid, nigga. On the hour, bitch. Bruh, that's what I'm trying to tell people, man. You gotta be prepared, nigga.
Dude was getting paid $80,000 a year to protest.
That's crazy. But they're not these people. Some of these people are doing it for the love of the furry.
Some of them are getting paid.
It's monkey see, monkey do. Their friends are out there, so they're out there. They feel like this gives them.
But I feel like some of them really are out there for the cause, though.
I feel like it's a mixture of that, too.
If you got whole ICE agents coming down here to try to harass and go against you, but I understand it is lit, so niggas gonna be out there.
I think it's the love of the game for sure.
Love of the furry game, yes.
Yeah.
Hey. This is in Chicago.
They kidnap families! They kidnap fucking
That's what we saying. They breaking up family, communities. It's already fucked up out here already. Y'all already fucking up even more. Niggas already fucked up. Why fuck it up even more? Trip.
Y'all don't have that same energy for the people in your city who are murdering each other every single day.
That's what I'm saying though. It's already fucked up.
They don't know.
Why fuck it up even more?
They can't comprehend.
They know what's going on. Put on the Lil Durk song. He'll explain it.
Is this the governor in Oklahoma?
Yeah.
It is different parts in Chicago, man.
So I guess they were giving out CDLs to New York illegals, guys.
That's what I've been hearing. They've been paying the illegals
the state line,
going crazy.
It's gonna be a problem.
No name given.
And they ain't paying niggas in America nothing.
This is mental.
You know how many people have to spend tons of money just to get a CDL?
That's a fact.
I know people right now that's trying to save up money, thousands of dollars just to get in the program.
That's
right
a fact.
now. Hey man, that shit crazy.
Where's my boy at, man? He's been blowing up.
And these motherfuckers coming in just getting out the rip.
Nigga,
Nigga, I'm like, damn,
someone called my daddy today.
I'm like, we fucked up out here. Niggas have programs for us to like thrive in and, you know what I'm saying? Put the work in and make some shit straight.
My dad said he went off on him. I said, how long you talking to? He said, about 20 minutes. I said, yeah, you want to be on the podcast. He said, I went off on
20 minutes?
I said, bro, he said he was going off on him. He said he had him hot. He said, and then at the end, he said, you right, bro. I'm wrong. I said, chill out, bro.
Nah, we got ops now, man, for what we do.
He said, but just because you disagree with somebody don't mean you have to go to these
I've been having ops,
like
it's
calling
crazy.
their dad and saying something, trying to frame my son, basically saying he sleep with men. He like gay white men now.
What?
I said, what? This happened today, a few hours ago.
He said you Don Lemon.
Yes. Literally. Speaking of Don Lemon, we're going to get to Don Lemon.
Hey, I seen you on...
Bro, this shit getting wild, nigga. You never know what the fuck gonna pop up these days.
Yeah, you were protecting a female. I came down here because of you.
Thank you.
Because I seen you on YouTube. There's a guy watching you. And I seen everyone.
The Mega Drake hat again is insane, bitch.
I live out in Beaverton, and I wear this hat every day at work. I work at Safeway. And no one say shit.
Why that nigga low-key look like,
So then what do you think of what's happening right now?
my boy for,
Annoying goodness.
damn, LA.
Man, that is
How do you guys pay rent?
Big community in them niggas.
I got my own spot. I'll give you one of that.
Community, that nigga.
I got a job. Check my bag.
Oh, Taco Bell.
I work at Taco Bell.
This shit getting crazy.
Who else has a job?
explain to us.
What do you do? Take off your mask. Let me see. YouTuber.
You ain't no YouTuber.
You never know.
Yeah, speaking of Don Lemon, though, speaking of white men, too.
That's your brother.
They say I'm Don Lemon, guys. That's crazy.
He just like white men something. Play it.
Yeah, man. Who wears a baby blue t-shirt?
This will be
Men who look like you, men who vote like you, and men who sound like you. White men, something is broken. Something is cracked deep inside when so many of you believe the answer to fear, to loss,
is to take out and kill black people.
is violence.
Wow.
Are you
Kill
listening
black
to me?
people.
I hope I'm saying it loud enough for the people in the back.
Now, if the roles were reversed, if a white man was on here and he said, black men, violence is not the answer. Oh my gosh, y'all. He is
But their whole career is violent. That's all they do. That's what they came from.
Antifa,
Killing motherfuckers.
We can go on and on and on. There's been a lot of left groups. I wish I would have sent, it was a picture and it was showing the right versus the left when they protest, and it was a picture of the whole.
All they do is kill
All the
motherfuckers.
cars burnt down.
And then when they get done doing it, oh
People
man,
had
it's
to put,
fucked up.
people
Let's
with
try
Teslas had
to
to
make
put
something out of
bumper
nothing, help
stickers
them
on the
out.
back
They're
of their
like,
cars so
yeah.
that it wouldn't be vandalized and said who they voted for and things like that.
They were hopping out on random women,
people.
women
For the
with
cars
families.
they drove.
Yes, that's like wow.
That's deranged.
That is beyond deranged. We need to open up more mental facilities for these people. Because now they're just running around.
Speaking of what y'all claim the right did, this is just new breaking news too, though. My boy Cash Patel basically said that it is a guaranteed fact now that it was over 200 FBI.
We know. Everyone says that this is like the sky is blue. The FBI wanted J6 to happen. They had a part in it.
And listen to this though. This guy's an FBI agent, guys. Listen to what he said. So you can also say that these FBI agents led these people to the Capitol.
As soon as President Trump is finished speaking,
the ones who raided the White House?
That's where our true problems lie. President Trump is done speaking. We are going to the Capitol.
He's an FBI agent.
Hey, folks, we need your help. As soon as President Trump stops speaking, we are going to the Capitol. The Capitol's in that direction.
So that's when that crowd raided the office and shot. They got shot.
We'll just leave that right there, guys.
Yeah.
I'm actually scared for this world.
Everyone confirms it. Everyone confirms
So
it.
They call my daddy today. I'm actually
bitch.
kind of scared, though.
How they get your daddy number?
I don't know, man. This all this happening. People
have called my parents plenty of times.
Man, this is
Not like
going on.
the people who have contacted my parents were friendlies, but
Bro,
like trying to get us to react to stuff.
But this is what the left is continuing to say.
You're a newscaster, but I gotta tell you, when they run the UN speech,
you're destroying your countries. They're being destroyed. It's time to end the failed experiment of open borders. You have to end it now. I can tell you.
That's a
But
fact.
all
Really
y'all
good at this
trash.
stuff. Your countries are going to hell.
and they don't come back and say, that was insane.
That wasn't.
Did you hear what the president did? That's what we need from the newscasters, but they kick you right out. Terry Moran, Jim Acosta, see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. You dare stand up to the Fuhrer? You bet your ass you do. And if you don't stand up now, we're going to be like Nazi Germany. You're a newscaster?
That is
Stay your
dangerous.
ass overseas.
That is
man.
dangerous.
But
That is
in
dangerous.
Ireland, anyways, though, what's crazy is, though, right now, if you go to Nick, my boy Nick's page, I forgot his last name, but
Sorter.
I forgot him. Yeah, y'all know who we're talking about. If you go to his page and you see what's going on in these different countries and how they're protesting right now,
It's going crazy.
insane. And they're protesting because they don't want illegal immigrants in their
And
cities right now.
Gen Z
So they
going
actually
crazy.
are going to hell right now.
It's rough.
People are burning up castles.
Yeah, it's going crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to hell. It actually is
Yeah.
going to hell in these countries.
It's going
But
crazy
I've
right
seen some
now.
videos
Yeah.
of some illegal immigrants
It's
that look
wild.
so scary, bro. And I was like, damn, I'd be terrified if I walked into one of them people right now.
I mean, I just don't see the argument. Like, every country has borders, and that's that. I just don't see why that's a crazy thing to say. Like,
But the fake
Lives was
Israel, they
killed
took over
borders.
our
every
land
country has borders.
and put themselves in a position
I'm
where they
sorry.
didn't even
No,
own
I'm
that
watching
shit.
the
That's
Game
what
of
it
Thrones.
is.
They
I'm
was
watching the Game of Thrones right now. They
people
got
running
borders.
around looking for
Boy,
spots.
They got borders.
They was
That's how you run a kingdom right there. It's a border. But this is what they're continuing to say. This one actually is unbelievable.
For Donald Trump and the MAGAs in Congress, this is not about fighting crime or about public safety. This is about sowing fear and intimidation and division among Americans. It was about creating a pretext to send armed military troops into our communities. This is about consolidating power in Donald Trump's hands. What he plans to do with that power now or during the 2026 elections should worry all of us.
This shit got to get crazy, nigga.
When you add to that the Trump administration's effort to label as dangerous free speech critical of him,
Yeah, that's wild.
Here we go.
How?
White House senior staff calling the Democratic Party fascist,
Can't take away free speech, bitch.
Trump appointed FCC chair threatening to revoke broadcast licenses and the approval of a merger.
All right, but we just can't take these people serious.
When y'all use that word every day
Can't hear no
for years.
He said they're calling us fascists.
But y'all
call him Hitler,
Is this shit a
Nazi
joke?
Germany.
Is this shit a joke?
I don't know.
It might actually be though. Like maybe we'll go into because this is a video that we're doing right now. A different video of some crazy conspiracies. Because I just want y'all to see them, guys. There's been some crazy conspiracies on like
All
it's a
types of-
movie that's like I forgot what it's called.
They talked about the Charlie Kirk situation. It was so accurate. It had the shooter name, Zach, and the politician.
And
then they had the all CNI. It had like a balloon that said the all CNI.
Yeah, it was
jumping inside, nigga. Them secret organizations, nigga. I'm telling y'all, niggas, bro, shit is real.
Shot in the neck. It's an actual movie.
By Terrence Sass. Yes, it's been out for years. Like 20 or something.
Oh shit.
No, I'm kind of scared. I might go watch it, but like we gonna get into that.
It's been out for years.
So actually, man, these people aren't serious, man. Like how unserious these people are. It makes times like life isn't real.
The times that we're in, y'all.
Jesus is on his way back, man.
Yeah. If y'all know Pastor Philip Anthony Mitchell down in Atlanta, man, 2819 Church, he's been talking a lot about it, guys. It looks like
that's what's weird
here.
Simple comments like this just make me like.
I feel like everything Democrats say is just contradiction, like
extremely contradiction.
Michael Blackson had to get on Charlemagne's ass today about Trump. He says, "I'm an American citizen, mother."
But Africans love Trump, bro. African people love Trump.
This is crazy.
I'm American. You can't just deport me there. I have no criminal record. But no, that's part of what he's been doing. He's been deporting people who are actually U.S. citizens or people who've been going through the process. Well, you have to have some kind of criminal record. He'll find something. That's it. That's really been the whole. No, that's been the whole thing. That's why people are upset. I'm not worried about you.
Why you ain't scared?
I'm not worried. I'm American.
He's American.
Fear mongering.
Why you ain't scared? I see whoever made that saying about the crab bucket mentality.
Oh yeah,
they hit on the nail with that one.
Yeah, and here liberals are talking about why are they in Chicago? Take a step back of your politics and ask yourself, why are heavily armed masked men in military uniforms standing in the streets of the United States? This is America, not Moscow.
Who knows what he said?
No, this video went super viral though. This is funny though. They were chasing him and they couldn't catch him though. This was so funny, bro. Hey, he shifted them on a bike.
Let's see.
Look what all they wearing.
Look at this. Well, he set him up. Beat him.
Oh shit.
He got out of there.
Hey, he did give it.
Damn. How you went out like they was doing squad or something?
Y'all, let's go to Chicago.
He got lit.
We should go. Would y'all want to see us go to Chicago, y'all?
Hell no.
I mean, I go to Chicago, bro.
I do.
They ain't making Chicago worse, bitch.
You know what's crazy? They got I know this is completely off topic, but they got a big Benny Johnson and Tim Pool like billboard all over Chicago. Like, no, for real. When that was going on.
Because Tim is from there.
That's crazy. And I guess they're trying to shut down the government again, I guess.
Yeah, they can't find a bipartisanship for the budget this year. So
I don't want them to do that, y'all.
But they giving it all the way to the foreigners across seas.
You know what's crazy though? They said right here, they was basically like, how remember when Democrats was all like, the government shut down will crush the hard-working Americans.
Oh, and now they're pushing for it. It's only when their narrative, we know how they are. They don't care about the other things they say. They only care about the things that help them.
Feeding the streets to make the shit move.
I lived through a couple of them.
You giving them away and doing shit.
Yeah, so they're trying to get health care for illegals, guys, and Republicans just aren't budging for that, man.
Why?
As a U.S. citizen, why would you?
So why would nobody fight for us?
We don't have it
free.
We don't care to get the shit like that.
And then y'all screaming about not enough resources, and we finna give resources to the whole
Argentina.
That doesn't add up.
It's not adding up.
Well, we thought the view was gone.
I told you. I remember that. I knew they weren't gone forever. They've been on too long. I'm happy.
I'm going to say something that's going to make this table and this audience very upset, but I want to tell the unvarnished truth. I think if the election were reheld today, Donald Trump would win by the same, if not a bigger margin. I think we forget this country. How do you say that, though? This country is so deeply polarized. If you hated him before, you hate him even more now. There are definitely people who are like, ooh, I'm having some buyer's remorse. But there's this poll today that shows that on the top issues people voted on, they still trust Republicans more. We are literally a 48-48 country, and then this little percentage in the middle that goes either way.
I would be curious who this poll, the age of the poll, because I think this probably gears younger and who is saying that. Because anyone who has read their history books since the beginning of time
democracy may be fragile, it is the only way. You do not want a theocracy. You do not want a monarchy. You do not want socialism or communism. They have never worked. In intention and spirit, they sound great, but go back to the books, because that will not end well. Donald Trump is less popular than he has ever been. He is underwater on virtually every issue. If you oppose and are disgusted by what this administration is doing, you are in the company of a majority of Americans. You are not alone. More people disapprove and are opposed to this administration right now than they are in support of this administration. Those are the numbers.
At this particular point, the Democrats are the New Orleans Saints of political parties. What are we talking about? Trust the Dems or GOP more on the economy? Who leads on the economy? Republicans.
Why you had to roast them like that?
Saints, boy.
What are we talking about? Trust the Dems or GOP more on the economy? Who leads on the economy? Republicans by 7. Immigration, Republicans by 13. How about crime, a big issue for Donald Trump and the Republicans? Look at that. Lead by 22 points. So the bottom line is this. At this particular point, the ball may be on the ground, but the Democrats have not picked up the ball running with it. If anything, at this particular point, it's Republicans who are running famous ball on the top issues.
Every stat that dude gives every time is for the right.
But it makes no sense.
Stats don't lie.
Everybody not voting.
I've never seen him give stats
that I didn't enjoy hearing. You read empty numbers.
Chicago, I hope they work their way to the
everybody probably mostly voted towards the election, and a lot of them did.
They can work their way to the hoods, guys. I hope that I'm ready that happens, and then we go Memphis. The Memphis mayor all for it. Memphis mayor came out and said,
"The state of Tennessee,
I want
the great state of Tennessee, the volunteer state.
I want the National Guard."
That dude said, what that one dude said, I want him to arrest me.
Send the National Guard to every hood.
Shit, bro.
Hey, I'm all for that. But the dumbest comment of the day go to Don Lemon to me, man. Yeah. I did this right here.
Dude
I just can't believe it.
It's literally like he's getting piped down by a white man.
And come on, bro.
Tripping.
Come on, bro.
He's literally getting fucked over by a white man.
You call a whole group of people wrong and then say the other people are divisive.
Something deep in you is
they both the same type of people. I feel like both sides, Democrat and Republican, the same people.
That's
deep broken in your ass, Don. I just can't believe that, man. You getting cracked while the same race, the two are. Man. All right, we're out of here though, guys.
Shout out to Player Unlimited Media. Trump rushed to Chicago court after scheme collapses. We gonna get some more of our black people opinions on what's going on and the situation that's at hand. Cause nigga, this literally war, like revolution, gang. Like, let's get it.
Breaking news, a major blow to Trump's crackdown on American cities. A judge just blocking Trump's deployment of National Guard troops to Chicago for at least 2 weeks, warning that it will only, quote, add fuel to the fire. The judge also calling the use of chemical agents against protesters, quote, arbitrary and indiscriminate.
Points we have made repeatedly, Trump's deployment is illegal, unconstitutional, dangerous, and unnecessary. We will see what appeal efforts may come up as well, but obviously a very big moment and day here in the Chicago area today, Aaron.
And particularly to the brave protesters and demonstrators who've been showing up. And I am so grateful for the work of the ACLU and Lovie and Lovie, who argued this case so well and brought it to this conclusion.
NBC5 investigates President Trump's next threatened move on Metro Chicago, and that is possibly invoking the Insurrection Act, which would claim a rebellion against the government is underway here and allow for a stronger military deployment.
Our investigative reporter Chuck Gowdy on the story for us. He joins us now with what that would look like. Chuck.
Allison, there's a gathering storm over Chicago and the suburbs, even as Illinois State Police and regular federal law enforcement agents have been able to stand up to fairly small and only sometimes violent crowds. But the gathering storm of a wider military deployment to Chicago with full arrest power is being considered by the White House and talked up publicly by the vice president, especially since Trump Justice Department attorneys lost several legal cases here in the past week.
Okay, so picture this. The president of the United States wakes up one morning and decides, yeah, you know what? I'm going to send the military into Chicago. Not for a natural disaster, not because there's some actual rebellion happening, just because he can. Or so he thought. and then the court step in and basically say, yeah, no, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. But before we go any further, real quick, let's be honest. You can't really trust mainstream media anymore. That's why we built Pump Politics, to bring you real stories, real context. This is wild, you guys. Like, genuinely wild. We're talking about a full-on constitutional crisis playing out in real time, and most people have no idea what's actually happening here. The media is covering it, sure, but they're not explaining why this is absolutely insane. So here's what went down. Trump tried to deploy National Guard troops to Chicago, federalized them, took control away from the state, and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, along with Chicago city officials, immediately sued. They said, come on, this is unconstitutional. You can't just militarize a major American city because you feel like it. And guess what? The courts agreed. Multiple courts, multiple times. On October 9th, a federal judge in Chicago issued a restraining order blocking the whole thing. Judge April Perry looked at the administration's case and said there's no credible evidence of a rebellion in Chicago. None. Zero. The justification Trump's team gave, completely made up. She cited violations of the 10th Amendment, the 14th Amendment, basically said the president was way out of bounds here. But wait, it gets better or worse, depending on how you look at it. 2 days later, October 11th, the Trump administration goes running to a federal appeals court begging for an emergency stay. They're like, please let us deploy these troops. And the appeals court says, nope, they denied the request. The ban on troop deployment stays in place. Now, here's the tricky part. They did allow federal control of the Guard to continue for now, but the soldiers can't actually be deployed into the city. So it's this weird limbo situation where Trump technically has control, but can't actually use it. Are you kidding me? This is the kind of legal mess that happens when someone tries to do something they absolutely should not be doing. Governor Pritzker didn't hold back either. He straight up said, and I'm quoting here, Donald Trump's deranged depiction of Chicago as a war zone is just BS. Just BS. The governor of Illinois said that out loud in public, because that's how ridiculous this entire situation has become. Illinois' lawsuit doesn't mince words. They accuse Trump of using soldiers as political props and manufacturing a crisis to justify a massive federal clampdown on a city that didn't need or want it. State officials are pointing to the trauma this has caused, the fear, the complete disruption to people's lives. All for what? A photo op, a tough on crime talking point. And here's the thing that really gets me. This isn't the first time Trump has tried something like this. Remember Portland? Remember when federal agents were literally grabbing protesters off the streets in unmarked vans? Remember New York? Democratic-led cities have been dealing with this kind of federal overreach for years now. But Chicago was supposed to be the big one. The showcase, the proof that Trump could impose his will on so-called lawless cities. And instead, it's become this massive, embarrassing legal defeat that's playing out in courtroom after courtroom. The law and order president who can't even get the law to agree with him. Can you believe this? So why does this matter? Why should you care about some legal fight in Chicago? Because this is about way more than just Chicago. This is about presidential power. This is about whether a president can just decide to send the military into American cities whenever he wants. This is about state sovereignty. This is about the Constitution. This is about limits on federal authority that have existed since the founding of this country. And right now, those limits are being tested in ways we haven't seen in decades. The courts are stepping up. They're saying no, and that no is echoing through every state house and every city hall across the country. Because if Trump can do this in Chicago, he can do it anywhere, to anyone. For any reason he decides sounds good that morning, but he can't. The courts have made that crystal clear. So buckle up, because we're about to break down exactly how this scheme fell apart, why it was doomed from the start, and what it means for the ongoing battle between federal power and state rights. Trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this one. Alright, so let's dig into what actually happened here, because the surface level story doesn't even begin to capture how bizarre this whole situation is. First, you need to understand the National Guard. Like, actually understand it, because most people don't. The National Guard isn't just federal military that sits around waiting for the president to use them. They're state military forces. They report to governors. They're funded partly by federal money, sure, but they answer to state leadership under normal circumstances. The president can federalize them, meaning take control of them, but only under very specific circumstances. There has to be an actual justification, a real emergency, an insurrection, a rebellion, something that requires federal military intervention, because the state can't handle it. Trump's justification for Chicago? Crime. That's it. Crime rates, gang violence, the usual talking points about Democratic-run cities being dangerous hellscapes. Now, is there crime in Chicago? Yeah, of course. Chicago's a major city with millions of people. There's crime. But is there a rebellion? Is there an insurrection that requires military intervention? According to federal judge April Perry, Absolutely
But
not.
they ain't trying
Not
to do
even
nothing
close.
against
She looked at the
the
evidence
people
and there
across
was nothing there.
overseas to
No
take.
credible evidence of the kind of emergency
You know
that
what
would
I'm saying?
justify
But kind of
federalizing
black
the National
people
Guard and deploying them
and
into the
people in
streets.
general
Nothing that would make this
in
constitutional.
America, KKK.
And this is where it gets interesting. Because Trump's team had to know this wouldn't hold up in court. They had to know this
He
isn't
knew
some
it was
obscure
there
legal
just for
theory.
show.
This is
Make it
basic
look good.
constitutional law. The 10th Amendment reserves powers to the states. You can't just steamroll over that because you want to look tough on crime. So why did they do it anyway?
To look
Politics.
good.
Pure politics. This was never about actually solving crime in Chicago. This was about the image, the optics, the ability to say, look, I'm taking action. I'm sending in the troops. I'm the law and order president who isn't afraid to do what needs to be done, except it backfired spectacularly. Governor Pritzker and Chicago officials filed their lawsuit almost immediately. And they didn't just file some generic legal complaint, they came out swinging. The language in that lawsuit is brutal, calling Trump's actions a deranged depiction of Chicago, accusing him of using soldiers as political props, pointing out the very real trauma and fear this caused for residents. Because here's what people need to understand. When you federalize the National Guard and talk about deploying them into a city, that's scary. That's military occupation language. That's the government saying,
but
we don't
have
trust
no
local
type
authorities,
of
we're taking over.
anything.
And for the people who live there, that's terrifying. Even if the troops never actually hit the streets, the threat alone is enough to cause panic. And for what? A political stunt? The October 9th ruling was devastating for the administration. Judge Perry didn't just block the deployment, she gutted the legal reasoning behind it. She said the administration failed to meet the constitutional requirements, failed to show necessity, failed to respect state sovereignty. The 10th Amendment argument is huge here. That amendment is all about federalism, about the balance of power between federal and state governments. It says that powers not specifically given to the federal government belong to the states, and control over the National Guard, except in very specific emergencies, is a state power. The 14th Amendment angle is about due process and equal protection. You can't just target specific cities, specific populations, without proper justification.
Nigga, they been
Trump's
doing
targeting
that
of
shit.
Chicago, a Democratic stronghold, a majority-minority city, raises all kinds of questions about whether this was really about crime or about politics and punishment. But Trump's team didn't give up. Of course they didn't. 2 days later, they're at the appeals court asking for an emergency stay, basically begging the higher court to overrule Judge Perry and let them move forward. And the appeals court said no. Well, mostly no. They denied the emergency stay on the deployment itself. The troops still can't be sent into Chicago, but they allow federal control of the Guard to continue while the legal fight plays out. This is actually kind of brilliant legal maneuvering by the courts. They're saying, okay, you can keep control technically, but you can't actually do anything with that control. It's like letting someone hold a locked gun. Sure, you got it in your hands, but it's useless. And this drives Trump absolutely crazy. You can see it in the administration's responses, the angry statements, the accusations of judicial overreach, the complaints about activist judges. But here's the thing, these aren't activist judges. Judge April Perry, she's not some liberal firebrand appointed to make political points. She's looking at constitutional law and applying it. The appeals court, same thing. This isn't politics, this is law. And the law is pretty clear. You can't militarize American cities without meeting a very high bar of justification. You can't override state sovereignty just because you feel like it. You can't use the military as a domestic political tool. This ties into a much bigger pattern though, and this is what people need to connect the dots on. Trump has been trying to expand presidential power over law enforcement and military deployment since day one of his administration. The attempts to use federal agents in Portland, the threats against other cities, the constant rhetoric about Democrat-run cities being war zones that need federal intervention. This isn't new, but Chicago was supposed to be the proof of concept, the big test case. If he could do it in Chicago, one of the biggest cities in America, he could do it anywhere. And the courts just said absolutely not. Now let's talk about the political fallout from this, because oh man, there's a lot. First, Trump's law and order brand takes a massive hit. His whole thing is that he's strong, decisive, gets things done, but here he is, blocked by the courts, unable to follow through on a major policy initiative, looking weak and ineffective. That's not good for someone whose entire political identity is built on strength. Second, this energizes opposition. Democratic governors are watching this closely. They're seeing that the courts will back them up against federal overreach. That emboldens them to push back harder on other Trump policies, immigration enforcement, environmental regulations, you name it. This ruling becomes precedent, becomes ammunition. Third, and this is the kicker, it makes Trump look like he doesn't understand how the government works, like he thinks he can just do whatever he wants without legal or constitutional limits. And while his base might love that attitude, swing voters, independents, they tend to get nervous when presidents act like kings. The timing here is also wild. We're in his second term. He can't run again. So this isn't about re-election for him personally, but it is about his legacy. It's about the Republican Party's direction. It's about whether Trumpism survives beyond Trump himself. And right now, Trumpism is losing in court, badly. The trauma angle that Illinois officials raise is also worth paying attention to. When government actions cause fear and disruption to ordinary people's lives for no good reason, that has consequences. People remember, communities remember, and Chicago is a huge city with a massive voter base. This isn't just some abstract legal fight. This is people's lives being disrupted because of political theater, and they're not happy about it. The bigger question is what this means for future federal interventions in cities. Because Trump's not the last president who's going to try something like this, future administrations will test these boundaries too. And the precedents being set right now, the legal lines being drawn, those are going to matter for decades. If the courts hold firm here, if they establish clear constitutional limits on presidential power over state military forces, that's a huge win for federalism. That's a protection against future abuses of power. But if they waffle, if they create loopholes, if they allow exceptions that can be exploited, then we're opening the door to a very different kind of America. One where presidents can militarize cities for political reasons, where state sovereignty is just a suggestion, where the balance of power tips dangerously toward executive authority. So yeah, this case matters a lot. Okay, so let's break this down into the key points you actually need to understand about what's happening here, because there's a lot of moving parts and it's easy to get lost in the legal jargon and political spin. Point 1, presidential power has limits, and Trump just hit them hard. The president is not a king. I know that sounds obvious, but apparently it needs to be said over and over again. The Constitution sets up checks and balances specifically to prevent any one branch of government from having too much power. And what we're seeing in Chicago is those checks and balances actually working. Trump tried to exercise power he doesn't have. He tried to federalize and deploy National Guard troops without meeting the constitutional requirements. And the courts, doing their job, said no, not just once, but multiple times. First, the district court, then the appeals court. Different judges, different levels, same answer. No, this is actually the system working as designed. The judicial branch checking the executive branch. State governments pushing back against federal overreach. This is civics class coming to life. This is what they taught you in school, actually happening in real time, but it's also revealing something uncomfortable. This administration has repeatedly tested the limits of presidential authority, sometimes pushing, sometimes breaking through, sometimes getting slapped down. Chicago is a slap down, a big one, a public one, an embarrassing one. And the precedent this sets matters enormously. Future presidents will look at this case. Future administrations will cite these rulings. The legal boundaries being drawn right now will affect American governance for decades. This isn't just about Trump. This isn't just about Chicago. This is about what presidential power means in America. When Judge Perry issued that restraining order, she wasn't making a political statement. She was reading the Constitution and applying it. She looked at the requirements for federalizing state troops and said, you haven't met them. You don't have a rebellion. You don't have an insurrection. You have crime, which every city has, and that's not enough. That distinction is critical, because if crime alone was enough to justify military deployment, then the president could send troops into any city, anytime, for any reason.
Man, he
that would
already
fundamentally break the federal system.
just like
that would give the executive branch way too much power. Point 2, this was always about politics, not public safety. Let's be real for a second. If this was genuinely about reducing crime in Chicago, there are about 1,000 things you could do before militarizing the city. Federal funding for police departments, support for community programs, investment in education and economic opportunity, coordination with local law enforcement, partnership with city officials. You know what's not on that list? Sending in the National Guard without talking to anyone first, because military occupation doesn't solve crime. It doesn't address root causes. It doesn't build community trust. It doesn't create long-term solutions. What it does is escalate tensions, create fear, and often make things worse. What it does do is create a spectacle. It generates headlines. It lets a president say he's taking dramatic action. It plays to a base that wants to see strength and dominance. It feeds a narrative about lawless democratic cities that need to be brought to heel. Governor Pritzker called this out explicitly. The deranged depiction of Chicago as a war zone comment wasn't just a sick burn, though it definitely was that. It was pointing out that Trump's entire framing of the situation was false, was propaganda, was manufactured for political purposes. Chicago has challenges. Like any major city, it has crime. Like any major city, but it's not a war zone. It's not in a state of rebellion. It's a functioning city with millions of people living normal lives, going to work, raising families, building communities. The whole premise was manufactured. The crisis was invented to justify the federal response, and the courts saw through it immediately. They weren't fooled. They looked at the actual evidence, or lack thereof, and said this doesn't justify what you're trying to do. This is using soldiers as political props, just like Illinois alleged in their lawsuit, and that's not okay. That's not what the military is for. That's not what the National Guard is for. These are real people, real service members, being put in an impossible position for political gain, being asked to deploy into American cities against American citizens when there's no actual justification for it. And those service members know it. They can see what's happening. They understand the politics. And being used like that, being turned into pawns in a political game, that's demoralizing. Yeah. That's disrespectful. That undermines trust in leadership. Point 3, state sovereignty
the sad part is
still
I think
means
half
something,
the whole motherfucking system is
the 10th Amendment doesn't get talked about enough. It's not flashy. It doesn't have the name recognition of the First or Second Amendments, but it's absolutely critical to how American federalism works. It's foundational to the entire structure of our government. It says that powers not given to the federal government belong to the states, and one of those powers is control over state military forces, aka the National Guard, except in specific emergency situations defined by law and Constitution. What Trump tried to do in Chicago was override that state power without proper justification. And Illinois fought back. They said, no, this is our National Guard. These are our troops, and you don't get to take control of them for political reason. You don't get to federalize them without meeting the constitutional requirements. And the courts agreed. They upheld state sovereignty. They said the 10th Amendment still matters, that states still have rights, that the federal government can't just do whatever it wants. This matters way beyond Chicago. This matters for every state, because if the federal government can just take over state military forces whenever it wants, for whatever reason it decides sounds good, then state sovereignty means nothing. Then we don't really have federalism anymore. Then we have a unitary government with unlimited federal power. Governors across the country, Democrat and Republican, should be paying attention to this, because the precedent being set here protects all of them from federal overreach. Today is Chicago, tomorrow it could be Texas, or Florida, or any state that finds itself at odds with federal policy. The principle matters more than the politics. State sovereignty is a protection for everyone. It's part of what makes the American system work. It allows for diversity of policy, for experimentation, for states to serve as laboratories of democracy. Point 4, the appeals court decision was actually genius. That October 11th appeals court ruling that denied the emergency stay but allowed federal control to continue, that's actually a really smart middle ground, really sophisticated legal thinking. They're basically saying, okay, we're not going to immediately strip away all federal involvement while this case plays out. That would be dramatic, potentially destabilizing. But we're also not going to let you actually do the thing you want to do, which is deploy troops into the city. We're not going to let you cause the harm you're trying to cause. It's like putting someone in timeout. You're still in the room, but you can't participate. You have to just sit there and think about what you did. You're on ice while the grown-ups figure out what to do with you. This keeps the legal fight going without causing immediate harm. It protects Chicago residents from military deployment while not completely humiliating the administration by yanking away all control instantly. It maintains some dignity for all parties while ensuring the dangerous part doesn't happen. And it puts pressure on the administration to come up with actual legal justification if they want to keep pushing this, which they can't because there isn't any. The evidence doesn't exist, the constitutional requirements aren't met, so the administration is stuck. They have control they can't use, power that's functionally meaningless, and every day this continues, it becomes more obvious that they never had a real case, that this was always about politics and theater rather than genuine security concerns. So what happens next? Well, this case is going to keep working through the courts. There will probably be more appeals, more hearings, more legal arguments. The administration might try to produce new evidence or new legal theories. They might try to find a different angle, but based on how things have gone so far, Trump's not going to win this one. The constitutional issues are too clear. The lack of justification is too obvious. The political motivations are too transparent. The courts have already shown they're not buying what the administration is selling. And every day this drags on,
because the administration at the end of the day is like
an administration that promised
it's two different
decisive
sectors,
action,
you know.
that sold itself
Now,
as knowing how to get things done, that claimed to understand power and how to use it. Meanwhile, other Democratic governors are taking notes. They're seeing that the courts will back them up. They're seeing that federal overreach can be challenged and defeated, and they're preparing to fight similar battles on other issues. Immigration enforcement is the obvious next battleground. If the administration can't militarize Chicago, can it use federal forces to round up immigrants in sanctuary cities? Can it override state policies on immigration enforcement based on the Chicago precedent? Probably not. At least not without meeting a very high legal bar. Environmental regulations are another area where we're likely to see conflict. If states want stronger environmental protections than federal law requires, can the federal government stop them? If states want to resist federal rollbacks of environmental protections, do they have standing? The Chicago case provides ammunition for state resistance. This also feeds into the larger national conversation about what kind of country we want to be. Do we want a system where the president can send military forces into cities for political reasons? Do we want federal power to override state authority whenever it's convenient? Do we want constitutional limits to actually mean something, or are they just suggestions? Chicago is forcing those questions into the open, and the answers matter. They matter for how we understand presidential power. They matter for how we understand federalism. They matter for how we understand the Constitution itself. For Trump personally, this is a significant loss. It undermines his strong leader image. It makes him look legally incompetent. It energizes opposition, and it happens at a time when his political capital should be focused on other priorities. Second-term presidents don't have unlimited political capital. Every defeat weakens them. Every loss makes future victories harder. For the country, though, maybe it's a win. Maybe it's a reminder that the system still has some ability to check abuse of power, that courts still matter, that the Constitution still has teeth, that rule of law isn't just a phrase we throw around, but something that actually constrains government action. Or maybe I'm being too optimistic. Maybe this is just one battle in a much longer war over presidential authority and federal power. Maybe future courts will be less willing to push back. Maybe future administrations will find workarounds. Maybe the guardrails that held today won't hold tomorrow. Time will tell. History will judge. But right now, today, in Chicago, the court said no. The National Guard stays home, and Trump's scheme collapsed in spectacular fashion. And you know what? Sometimes the system works. Sometimes the guardrails hold. Sometimes judges look at the Constitution and actually apply it, even when it's politically inconvenient, even when it means checking the president, even when there's pressure to go along. Today was one of those days, and that's worth recognizing. That's worth celebrating, even if cautiously. So what's next? Keep watching this case as it continues through the courts. Keep watching how other states respond to this precedent. Keep watching whether the administration tries similar tactics elsewhere. Keep watching how this affects the broader political landscape, because this fight is far from over. The battle over presidential power, over state sovereignty, over the limits of federal authority, that's going to continue long after this specific case is resolved. But for now, Chicago won, Illinois won, state sovereignty won, and the Constitution won. Not bad for a random October week. Not bad at all. And that's the story.
I'll be back. So, like I said, man, Trump know he just bullshitting. You know, a lot of shit, man. I don't know what they gonna try to do. You know what I'm saying? And they gonna try to cause a whole war and do what they did with Zelensky, because the dude over across seas, overture, boy, I hope they get wiped to smithereens. That man, he been in the office, head of the seat for just because they in war. So I don't know if he trying to get to go to like that, to where even after the 4 years he might be doing some goofy shit to try to stay. Bruh, as I said, bruh, a lot of them rules that was in the amendments was been broken, and they hide it every day. So, you know, I feel like they gotta say something, because it's like it's so headline news. If they didn't say it, it was gonna be like they could do it to some random person and swipe it under the rug, but like it's headlines. So, but like I tell y'all niggas, man, stay fighting, stay strong, black people. Keep fighting for who we are as people. Don't fall for the BS. And we out here, hood and outside. Big crib and gang outside shit. Texas, man.
Hey, Dad, you know, dog, when we link up, dog, this shit be legendary. You know this instrumental, you the engineer on it, so Kodak everywhere.